Hello, folks. So, in this video, we're going to be looking at Wendell Stevens. Now, Wendell Stevens isn't well known by a lot of people, and I think it's a shame because if you've researched the UFO topic long enough, you will have come across his name. But it's surprising to me how many people don't know anything about Wendell Stevens. So, this is going to be a quick video of who Wendell Stevens is and a clip about what he said about the extraterrestrial treaty of alien technology in exchange for certain things, and we'll get to that. So let's first get on to who Wendell Stevens is. So, Wendell C Stevens was a retired US Air Force pilot turned UFO investigator and researcher. Wendell began his military career in the Army Air Force in 1942 after World War II. In the newly formed Air Force, Wendell participated in many top secret programs, including those which had him investigate UFOs. Having this official inside knowledge, he knew there was something to the phenomena, so he began his own private research and investigation. Since then, Wendell collected more than 4,000 actual UFO photographs and has written and co-authored over 30 books on extensive UFO contact cases. Stevens has also been a director of the International UFO Congress since its inception and its original founding member. He investigated many high-profile cases such as the Billy Meier case and Aztec UFO crash in Mexico. That's when I came across him when I was researching Billy Meier many years ago. We talked to Wendell about his Air Force days, his collection of books, photos and books, and asked him to share his special insight during his 6 decades of UFO research. Wendell Stevens passed away on the 7th of September 2010 in Tucson, Arizona. So that's a little bit of who Wendell Stevens is. And now I'm going to show you a clip, and the full entire interview will be shared in the description. It's an hour and 30 minutes long, but this clip I'm going to share with you is just a few minutes long, but it's very interesting. You need to check this out.
There. In about the 1960s, apparently our government made contact with an alien extraterrestrial visitor where they negotiated an arrangement to provide a surface facility for the aliens to operate from in exchange for some technology.
We're into the final bend of the coral eclipse. And what's this? He's shaking it, she's shaking it, and with £50,000 in cash prizes, everybody's shaking it. Play Coral's free golden reward shaker to win even bigger guaranteed rewards. Oh, that's golden.
And that's scuttlebutt all over the area, but there is some substance in fact. So when the agreement was reached, the Alien Society laid some requirements on our government. They said we would have to provide a suitable habitat for the beings that they would send here from their society. And they gave us some very specific instructions for it. The laboratory facility had to have 2 nozzles in the shower, one for water and one for enzymes. And they would bring enzymes from their home planet to be put in a tank to be dispensed through the second nozzle. The enzymes were lathed over the body first and rubbed in. They stand there for a time. And then they rinse off with water, and the water and the enzymes are collected at the bottom, and the enzymes are filtered out, put back in the tank, and the water is flushed away. That was one of the requirements. Another was a food requirement. They don't eat alimentation such as ours. They brought alimentation from their home planet that we had to learn to culture here in Area 51 to provide a food source for their diet. Our government was charged with the responsibility to produce the food from their products continually for alimentation for the guest visitors.
I'm not sure if it's going to go into this part here. Like I said, I just watched this a long time ago. I knew that was an area of where it was, but he speaks about where these enzymes came from, and they came from the cows' tongues and stuff like that. And this is why they were doing the abductions of the cows. But they were also in humans' tongues and stuff like that. The same enzymes that's in a cow is the same thing that's in humans. And they was taking humans for food, and they was taking the cows for food. So there was some sinister things going on, and it is spoke about in this interview. And I'm just going to play a little bit more, see if he goes into that here.
Now, those guest visitors arrived in an operational vehicle that they still keep operation of. They can go and come. They fly in and out of their habitat facility at will. They're not restrained in any way. But my engineer friend was one of the several engineers that were assigned to work with the extraterrestrials to try to bridge the gap between their technology and ours. And in 20 years of research trying to do so, they never succeeded in closing the gap. Were never able to convert that technology to ours. And the reason given by the aliens themselves is because in order to operate their equipment, they have to impart a certain mental input.
How insane is that part there with what Ross Cultard and other people have been speaking about just recently? This is an old interview, by the way. When was it? When's the date for this? Let me just see if there's a date to this. It was uploaded in 2022, but it was well before 2022. This interview. I'll try and find the accurate date and put it at the end of the video or something. You have to put some sort of consciousness into the craft, and this is what's coming out now. And this when people watching this, when he was speaking about it, they've been like, "What's he talking about?" Now it's just freely spoke about on many podcasts that this is using these. This is what potentially these children are being used for. These psionic purposes. That's what Jake Barber was speaking about with these psionic purposes. Now that's what concerns me, because when they put them in the fight or flight mode to get this ability out of them, it sort of reminds me of the adrenochrome thing, which is spoken about, and how they do the same thing with that. So it concerns me. And the fact of the matter is, these children are missing. There are millions over the decades that are missing, and it's been reported recently that they can't find 95% of these ones that are in the United States and stuff like that. And there's a lot of big things going on in the background trying to find a lot of children. So, and I do think people need to try and connect the dots with the missing children and these underground bases, and potentially the alien UFO connection. I think there is a connection there if you look into it deep enough, which I have been pushing for this for many, many years, for people to look into it. So let's carry on. Let's see what else he's got to say.
In part, the input that's necessary to make the machines work. So their equipment responds to mind, to thought, and we have never learned to impart the proper thought to make any of it work. There is no way that we can bridge the gap with a wire from this point to that point, from theirs to ours, and make it work. There's no such wire. And that's interesting, because those aliens are, I think one is very ill now and about to die, but they've been there since the 60s. That's 35 years. And we've been trying to solve the problem all that time and haven't succeeded. That's one entity that I know about. There were two of them involved, two aliens involved.
So 35 years from the 60s, so that means this interview must have been from the 90s then, around 95, 96. So I told you it's a while ago, this interview. So let's carry on.
Don't know about that one. I am quite sure is legitimate and real. The last I heard is one of those alien beings. We don't know whether they're males or females either, because they don't have any sex organs. But they have not reproduced out there. They do go and come as they please, and sometimes they're seen by others outside or even in Area 51. And they're not detained. But it's an interesting experiment, because there may be other programs going on that are not as beneficent.
So if you want to make a remote income from home, and you're a beginner, meaning right now you have a 9-to-5 job, or you're...
Okay, my friend from Area 51 told me an interesting story about an event that happened out there. We had another crash come down about 8 miles north.
So this is just a short video, just to introduce you to Wendell Stevens, and also to go and check out this full interview, because it's very interesting. Next thing, it goes into the Kingsman UFO incident. It goes into many things. This guy's wrote so many books. He's so knowledgeable on this subjects and stuff like that. You could compare his knowledge up there with George Knapp, if not more. Right? Really, that's how deep involved this guy was. And it's a shame that he's not around anymore. Now it's being spoken about more. He would be a fantastic guest to have on people's podcasts and stuff like that. So what do you think, though, this enzyme? These humans, they have the enzyme, the cows have the enzyme. A part of this agreement was to sort the food source out. There is a conspiracy, a dark conspiracy, that some of the food source that was being gathered for these aliens were humans and potentially children and stuff like that. you know, again, just conspiracies, no thing on it, but I think it needs to be looked at because there's missing people, fact. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this. If you've ever come across him, if you've got any more videos that you'd like me to do on this guy and stuff like that, please let me know. There is he had his things in a lot of pies. He was involved a lot with Billy Meyer and stuff like that. I wasn't a massive Billy Meyer fan. I think he hoaxed a lot of his pictures and videos. That's just my opinion. Some of the things have been proven to be hoaxes, like the Torblon pictures and stuff like that. They were taken from books. I think there was even a picture of like a dinosaur or something like that. It's insane. Some of the things that was coming out. So yeah, I don't buy. I will call bullshit on a lot of things if I think it's bullshit, but I think that Wendell Stevens is somebody that people need to go and research and look into, and you know, get yourself a beer and chill out and watch some of his stuff. He's very knowledgeable on it. So yeah, please let me know in the comments. And as always, I'm going to love you and leave you. Good night. God bless. See you on the next one.